Welcome back, children. We were discussing the chapter Acid, Bases and Salts. In the previous part of the same chapter, we had discussed the properties of acids, the properties of bases, and the properties of that of salt. Now the question comes, what is a salt? Salt is a compound formed by the neutralization reaction of an acid with that of a base to give a compound called salt and water. Now the question comes, what actually a salt contains? It contains a part of an acid, it contains a part of a base with the elimination of a molecule of water depending on the nature of the acid and that of the base. In this section of the chapter, we will be discussing the properties of some of the common salts that we encounter in our day-to-day life. Now the first salt that we are going to discuss is common salt or table salt, which is chemically called as sodium chloride. Now the sodium chloride is an important raw material for the manufacture of a number of industrially important chemicals like sodium hydroxide, like that of sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate. Now it is commonly called as table salt. Now why is it called a table salt? You might have noticed that a small pinch of salt changes the taste of food. Have you ever tasted a food which does not have salt? You will just see that it has a flat taste. Because of the small piece of salt, the whole taste and the type of food changes. Now another important use of this common salt is it is used in the leather industry for tanning of leather. Now India is such a country where we have water on all the three sides. We have the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. So we can say India has huge deposits of saline water or salty water, and that can be used as a raw material for the manufacture of, I should say that is our common salt. Now in the cold countries, the use of salt is in the making of or in the melting of ice. What happens in a cold country when the ice starts melting or when the temperature is extremely low, it is very difficult for people to navigate out in the ice. In that case, what they do, they mix the particular salt. As a result, it actually starts melting and it is possible to navigate. Now next compound we have is washing soda. Now washing soda is chemically sodium carbonate .10H2, or that is called sodium carbonate decahydrate. It is a basic salt. Why is it a basic salt? Because it is formed by the combination of a, I should say, strong base with that of a weak acid. Now what is the commercial application? It is used in the manufacture of glass, used in the manufacture of soap, and also in the paper industry. You might have noticed that soap is alkaline in nature. Another important use of this washing soda is in the manufacture of borax. Now what is that borax? It is actually chemically Na2B4O7.10H2O. Now another important use of washing soda is for removal of permanent hardness. Now the third compound we have is plaster of Paris, a very common compound. And what is the chemical formula plaster of Paris? That is calcium sulfate .half H2. How this plaster of Paris is been prepared? If we take some gypsum, that is calcium sulfate twice H2, and we heat it to a temperature of 373 Kelvin, it loses a molecule of water and it changes to plaster of Paris, whose chemical formula is calcium sulfate .half H2O. Now what is the use? It is actually used to make, that is called statues. It is nowadays used for the painting of walls, setting of fractured bones, and also it is used to make certain type of casks. In that cask we can use to manufacture different types of important articles. Now if you add water in plaster of Paris, it again hardens and changes to gypsum, and that is a permanent chemical change. So always be careful to store this type of salts in airtight container in order to prevent its changing into a solid mass. So we have three of these compounds. If you recollect the end of the chapter, that is, we had common salt, we have plaster of Paris, and we have washing soda. Okay children, that was all for the day. Good night and have a nice day.